Hey, how is everybody? Hope you're having a good day. I just came back from a really interesting meeting from someone, and I wanted to share this story. I also prepared a bunch of content today of, some common mistakes during this tax season, to be mindful of, but I really am excited to share this story of a client that I just met up with, for potential services. So a friend of mine recommended me for the job, and they have this person has a gym, and not only did they buy this gym, they're also working full-time on another job, and they came to me for help on wanting to know more about accounts payable. And it's a very common thing, accounts payable, to want help with, that people are having a hard time paying their bills. And it's not necessarily the concept of having enough money to pay their bills, of just getting onto a system. And he was really upset about how much money he's paying his current bookkeeper. And this all stems into a buying agreement that he had on this gym. And I'll tell you, years ago, about how deep I got into this guy, I would never have been able to ask him this many questions. But, being the CFO that I am, I was really able to dig in and really give him the advice that he wanted, that he needed, not that he wanted. So he came to me because he felt that he was paying a lot of money, and it was $70,000 to this current bookkeeper. And this current bookkeeper is also cleaning and doing sorts of things like that. So right away, when a business owner tells me that their worker for bookkeeping is doing cleaning, it's a few things. On the business owner level, it's expectations of what they have, that they're just, loading in extra tasks that's not with a bookkeeper role, because that's why we have cleaners, right? Or cleaning agencies. But then on the bookkeeper level, that's what she does is a question. She or he, then that's what she does. So I took him through the steps of my questions, and I offered him what I would do to help him. And he's like, "Oh my God, Margot, way cheaper." And I said to him, "Hold on, rewind. You're not coming to MBS because I'm cheaper. You're coming to me because of a scalable system that I'm showing you for what's going on." "Oh yeah, of course, Margot, blah, 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 blah." And then he says to me, "But I have my partner." And I said, "What's going on with the partner?" And it all comes down to that a lot of the partner is the partner going to agree? And he didn't even tell me that, what I was asking for was a lot of money. He was worried about if his partner was going to agree. And the more I spoke to him about it, really what was happening is that this guy bought a business, a bill of goods, in his words, that really did not exist. And he's stuck with this business that's at a loss from the get-go of $200,000 a year, which is exactly the salaries that he has an issue with, because the salaries comes out to like $170,000. And, he's like, "I pay the manager a lot of money, $100,000. I pay this bookkeeper a lot, $70,000. And people that are sitting there full time, if you're not willing to do the work as the business owner, entrepreneur, businessman, businesswoman, then you got to pay the money, because you realize that that person has to sit there, be away from their family, be away from their kids, and all that stuff around that. So we have to pay." So I said to him, "Does it make sense financially that you're sitting here in this job instead of at your own gym that you bought?" And it was really hard for him to realize that. And on top of it, this partner who is supposedly, the partner that he bought this bill of goods with, they're 50-50. And I said to him, 50-50 means it's 50-50. Because he said to me that if he, if he gets rid of this person for $100,000, that he's going to sit there. Now, that doesn't sit well with me, because if you're 50-50, the partners do 50-50. And if you're not doing 50-50, that partner is gone. You know, you have to have an internal agreement. So us as accountants, CFO, or whatever title that you're hiring for, it is so important for us to diagnose what the client really needs. Because really what he needed was like a business valuation. Because he also came and told me, this business owner, that my accountant, he has to stay. And part of the problem was that this accountant on top of the bookkeeper is paid for the same job. And really that person that's there full time, she can do the job. You're just choosing not to as the business owner. And this girl is shit out of luck, out of a job. So when it came down to it, is that he needs to scale the business, number one, because it's already in the red. And no matter where you go with what the current business is, it's a loss. So damned if you do and damned if you don't. But in that type of business of a gym, it's very hard to make that a profitable business and turn that around, especially if you're paying salaries. So with that story in mind, you know, I want you to see that as a business owner, is that if you're seeing things wrong in your business, but you're not willing to take it on first before you scale it out to someone else, those problems are never going to go away. You know, if we don't do the job first ourselves and then give it to a worker, we're always going to find a way to blame these workers, and it's never going to get fixed. It's just going to pile on the layers and layers till eventually one day you have to close the doors. So everything I know in my business and anything that I lead in my programs to my clients, I always tell my business owners, especially if they're not profitable yet, that they have to try it on first. Just like you would try on a shirt, you would try on shoes, you would try on a suit. And even before a wedding, you know, it's like, what dress should I wear? What suit should I wear? Should I wear a tux? You know, and all this stuff. You're trying on all these different looks. Unless you do that, is really what's going to make your business turn around. And I want to share with you 5 different things that are common mistakes that cost people money. And a lot of people, business owners at this time of year, are looking to do their taxes, and you could be on that proactive, that retroactive solution where you're trying to catch up from this year. And if that is for you, I suggest that you get on my calendar right away, because that's not a way to live. And if you're looking to see what's wrong with your business and you're not happy the way 2018 has been, and even in the first quarter of 2019, you don't feel like that you got that jump start that you wanted, I offer you a consult to get on so that I can help you and we can see how to help you make that work. So the first mistake that I'm going to talk about is the math. A lot of people are like, oh my God, I know my numbers. I got this. I got this, Margot. And they just think that they're like a math genius. And if you don't go over your numbers, you can find yourself just in a bigger hole than the next. And sometimes people are also using numbers that are predated. So let's say like this guy, he's like, it's not making the sales that it should. So he's like shoulding all over himself, which is like the biggest rule of, you know, big mistake, because that's like self-sabotage all over yourself. So if you even feel like that your numbers are good, you need to check them out with a professional to make sure that they're good. Because if your numbers are not good, you're paying taxes on numbers that are not accurate. So it's always in your best interest to make sure that your numbers are accurate, whether it's in an accounting program or in Excel. I personally highly suggest only an accounting program to run a business. The second one is employee classifications. This one I live and breathe with like all the time. People mix up who should be an employee and who should be an independent contractor. So very simple definition is that you as the employer, if you're paying their taxes, that's an employee. An independent contractor is somebody who you just pay their complete fee and they invoice you. And the paperwork at the end of the year is all different sorts of things, you know, but the focus is on what to do, you know, which status to put them in. Now, Some people, so that they don't have to pay their taxes, they'll put people in an independent contractor status just to save that. Now, it's not cool from an accounting perspective, I'm going to tell you, and people think you're saving money. But what happens is in the business eventually is that that worker is really like a worker, and then things happen that separate you, and then chances are he or she can't convert because it's really not even in the best chance, in the best interest of the business owner. But it's a relationship from independent contractor to employee that's basically impossible to switch. And it's not even in your best interest. So having that distinct classification is super key to owning a business. And if you're unsure about that, I'd love for you to put some comments or questions below, and I'd love to help you with that. The third thing is side income. I find this a lot, is that people sometimes are making side money off of things and they just totally forgot. So let's say I run an accounting business, and then on the side, let's say I'm selling like, you know, some type of makeup or skincare or some type of system that I can sell. And that money is going into my personal bank account. All that money counts, it's just how it counts on the tax return. So it's super important to make sure that all the accounts are accounted for, and you're aware of what you're making. So like, let's say for sales that I'm bringing in another $1,000 a month, I'm selling skincare, and my accounting business, the money, you know, it's two separate businesses, and the money is not going in the same place. But if I'm not paying taxes on that money for the skincare business, I'm in trouble, because then all that money is piling up. And then we think like, oh, the IRS won't know. But eventually what happens is that something comes up where they do know, or you're looking to do something where you feel like that your numbers are off, or your business is growing, and then it ends up playing a toll. I also just call it the honest syndrome, that you just want to be honest, and then it's just easier than not to do the right thing. That's really my take in life most of the time, all the time actually. Number 4 is last year's figures. One of the easiest things to forget when filing taxes is that it should be carried from the year before. So like if you have losses that you're carrying over, it's super key to review that. Because sometimes there's carrying costs of depreciation and stuff like that that you need to bring over. So that's super key, to just know your ending numbers. And that's actually, in my accounting engagements, that's always the first step that we do, is making sure our tax return matches with the books. And it's also a common error that entrepreneurs don't do that the books and the tax returns match, that they have a full accurate view of what's going on in their business. The 5th one is, if you don't have any requisite knowledge, if you shouldn't, then you really shouldn't be filing your own taxes. It's really that simple. You're looking at it to save money, but you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So instead of paying it to a professional, you're indirectly paying it to the government, where that money could have been for school, if you owe on credit cards, if you wanted to do some type of advancement and scale in your business, all those sorts of things. Look, I have a vested interest in this one, but I've always advocated that business owners should do it themselves. But where I see it as a disadvantage is that if they're not checking in with a professional, it's a downward spiral of where really that goes. And you don't want to really be mudding through. You want to, you really want to be like in a power position with that to help you move forward. Mistakes could very easily be possible, that it's costing you money when you think that you're saving by not hiring someone. So tax season is here, and it doesn't have to be stressful. You can go through it alone, or you can get support so that you can move through it. And one of the biggest things that I'm feeling from people is that it's like the forthcoming of what was wrong. And I'm totally there with you, that I can understand those feelings. But what I want to say is that it's okay, because you're human, right? The biggest thing is to recognize that you want to get that shit done, and you want to put it in the past. So the question to ask yourself is, how do I put one foot in front of the other to make sure that I'm always moving forward in my business. Because when you're moving one foot in front of the other in the business, even if you're taking that 2 millimeter shift of that step, it's still more than zero. You know, like when people are like, oh, I had a million things to do today. And I'm like number one of that. My list is always overpacked from what could actually get done in a regular work day. And you imagine I have support, I have a team, and I'm very big on outsourcing. So all I am is a phone call away. And what I share with you is an open opportunity to come, have a phone call with me. We'll have some fun, and to be able to explore your business and see how I can help you. The other thing is that I want to share with you, I put out there for a while ago, and I'm just going to offer it now too, is I created this separate way to work with me to get like a deeper dive. It's called a 2-hour rocket launch. What we do on this is that we get onto our phone call and we dive in. And we really create like the blueprint of the business to create like a strategy and to help you move forward. It's really meant to walk into my boardroom program, which is a 6-month. But even if you're an entrepreneur that you just want help to like know direction, strategize, it's fabulous. So I invite you for a free phone call, or I invite you to do the rocket launch, or both. I put that out there, all the different ways to work with me. And if you're not really sure that you want to work with me and you see my posts, my lives, which I think I haven't done a video in a while, and you really just want to chat and you need some help, I would love to help you. So if this video resonated with you, if you have questions, I'd love for you to put comments below. And I'm excited to hear from you. And I hope you have the rest of your day in a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous way. I love you all. Bye.